Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am Prasanna Venkatesh. I am today's SAA. I welcome you all to Medley's meeting 731. There are two ground rules which have to be followed during this meeting. First, please turn off your cell phones or keep them on silent mode. I'll give you a few minutes. Second, do not talk about sex, religion and politics during this meeting. Toastmasters International is a near-century-old organization helping its members grow in the area of public speaking and leadership abilities. As per the mission of Toastmasters, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater confidence and personal growth. Without further ado, I would like to call the president of our club, Toastmaster Dinakaran.
Thank you, SAA, for opening the meeting. Good afternoon. How are you all doing? Little more energy?
Yes.
Okay. So I will hope all had lunch and then. So are all excited for this wonderful meeting? Okay. In the sound of the devil, I declare the number 7th annual. I'd like to start the meeting by recognizing the dignitaries. DTM Thomas, thanks for being here and then being part of the meeting. TM Sundararaman sir. TM Sampath, DTM Guru. Okay, we'll start with, I see a lot of guests here, but many members are missing. So we'll start with some guest introduction. Would you like to come and introduce? Johnny S. Yeah, just feel free, whatever you want to talk, you can talk there.
So, hey everyone, I'm Keithan George. I'm currently a student pursuing BTech in biotechnology in SRM University. Currently in second year. So, this is my first Toastmasters.
So where do you stay?
I'm staying in Perigudi.
Okay. So how did you come to know about the Medley Toastmasters?
I got it through Mr. Thomas.
An old Toastmaster, common friend.
Right? So, I'm really excited. I hope I can.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for that. So would you like to come and introduce? Thanks for that, yes.
Hello everyone, I am TT George and I am a teacher in Kendriya Vidyalaya, CLRI, very nearby. And I've been here in Chennai for the last 10 years. And when I came to know about Toastmasters, I thought I would know a little more about it. And I also thought that my son also could join. Kirtan is my son. So that's the reason why I came today. So definitely as a teacher, I know the importance of developing communication, developing confidence. So I'm sure this is going to help people to communicate better, express their ideas, and this is going to be a very good platform. So that's all about answering.
Thanks for that. Thank you so much.
And I just finished my +2 and I'm currently at home doing nothing. Just my dad said that this will be a new experience for you. I just thought about it and thought I'd come here.
So where do you stay? You stay closer?
No, I'm Tirikam, Karamur.
Oh, okay. How did you come here?
Actually, I came by the auto.
Okay. So how was your exam and everything? So what is your next plan?
So I've applied for VAT and got it actually in CSE.
Okay. So ready to join the college?
Few months are there, so I'm just learning out.
Sure. Okay. What was the last movie you watched?
Guidance of the Galaxy.
You liked it?
I
Okay. All right. have a good time. Thanks for joining us. So, I will let you know.
Hello everyone, myself Thangaraj, staying in Ramapuram and currently working with HDFC Life as a key account manager. So I have been there for a day with Toastmaster, which is organized by my company. So in few years back, it's around 16, 17, I was there in Gujarat. Actually I born and brought up Gujarat, recently moved to Chennai. So I was searching for the Toastmaster club in Chennai. So with that, I joined it today. That's it. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Rekha. I'm working as an enterprise success advisor in an organization called Bentley Systems. I hope you would have heard about Bentley cars, but ours is a Bentley Systems. It's an architecture, engineering, construction-based software company. I'm there for past 16 years, but I always got used to the stages with the help of a PPT, but not without a PPT in front of an audience. So this is the first time without a laptop. So I came to know about the Toastmaster through two contacts. One is my current reporting manager is in UK. So he had told me that Toastmaster is the best platform that you can develop your leadership skills and as well as the communication skills. That's the one. And the second thing is, I hope you would have seen an ad in LinkedIn for leadership. It was amazing one. Very recently I gone through that post which published by Toastmasters. So that's the reason I thought this may be a good platform for me to improve myself and as well as to connect with all of you. Thank you for this opportunity.
You are staying closer.
I'm staying in DLF OMR, Garden City.
Thanks for joining us.
Manju. I'm working in a Shankara school as a KG teacher. I'm doing part-time.
Please face audience and speak.
I
could
want
not
to-
get your name.
I'm Manju. I'm working in a Shankara school as a KG teacher. I'm doing only part-time job. I want to improve my speaking skills. That's why
Yeah, sort of. Like it's a wonderful platform. If you look at it, right, we have people from all walks of life. We have retired professors, scientists, and also college students. So, and also you get to know like a lot of things about the life stories and everything. So it's a wonderful platform. So feel free to communicate with people and get together, and then you will have a lot of learning. Thank you for joining. So, yeah, you were to, yeah. So this is how many?
This is my third
Third.
yeah.
Thanks for
Hi,
that.
I'm Smriti, and this is my third Toastmaster meeting as a guest. I remember my last Toastmaster meeting, and in the table topic session, I was just standing here and I didn't speak. So I hope today I don't do the same mistake. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Alright. So I see a lot of guests, like it looks like more guests than the members. So we need to see how we can improve the attendance for the members. And on the other side, if you look at it, looks like we have a lot of reach as a Medley Toastmasters club. So a lot of people are coming to know and then willing to come, and I see people coming from like very far, like Ramapuram and other areas. So it's good that we are putting in a lot of effort, taking trying to reach and then trying to come here and then learn. So again, like for the guests and members, like let's all connect together and work together, and then let's have a good learning. This is what I would say. Since I was trying to convey some message, but I see less members, so I would skip it for today. So we'll go to the next part of the meeting. So in every Toastmasters meeting, we'll have the Toastmaster of the day. Today we have Toastmaster Venkataseshan as the Toastmaster of the day. Venkataseshan, he works for TCS. He's like close to 20 plus years of experience. He is interested in learning multiple languages. I think he knows more than 10 languages, if I am correct. Seven, okay. So he spends a lot of time in the wellness of Medley Toastmasters and then over to Toastmasters Venkataseshan to take it forward.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. How many of you know what is the theme of today's meeting? Somebody said my next question's answer, so I would keep him away from this audience. So just do it as soon as you hear Nike comes into your mind. So that is the kind of brand image that Nike has created. And how many of you have watched a new movie related to Nike? Any guess? Yeah is one new movie which I watched 2 days back on Thursday. Till Thursday, I was thinking that I would go with meeting without any theme, without a theme. But this movie, when I watched, it inspired me, impressed me a lot, and the way the screenplay has been done, I thought I should take some of the key learnings, the messages which I learned from that movie, I would take it to my fellow Medleyans and the guests here. So that's how I decided to go with a theme last Thursday. So till then, I was thinking that I should not have any theme and I should go without a theme. So this movie is all about Nike, as you all know, is one of the leading brands in shoes. But when they started, it was started by Phil Knight, who was a student then in University of Oregon, US. He started this with a very small group of people with support from his coach, his sports coach. And when they started, the market was mostly dominated by Converse and Adidas. So almost Converse was having 23% of the global market share and Adidas was having around 18% of the market share. And Nike, when they started, they had around $300,000 as the market that they had in US. But Phil Knight had one simple thought that sports wear or the shoes are not meant only for the sports. The sports wear is not meant only for the sports. I would revolutionize it and take it to a more of a casual wear. You may see nowadays that people are wearing sports wear to their offices as a casual wear, even as a formals, sneakers and formals. So that revolution was started and brought in by Nike. So this person, Phil Knight, decided to go with that intent, and there were a lot of comments and criticism that how could that happen, because Converse was a company which was a more traditional company which was having around 23% of world shoes share. So this guy, he wanted to revolutionize it and he started with that aim. So one thing which I understood is aim big. There will be a lot of criticism and people would come up with a lot of constructive criticisms, and some people they will come with some of the negative criticism and other things. So he decided to go with his intent, what his heart went with, than his mind went with. So he started with that one single sentence, just do it, because he felt that there is a need among the customers to go for a more of a casual sports wear. So aim big. When you aim big, there would be a lot of challenges. We will discuss more on those challenges in the coming sessions. With that first message, that whenever you aim for a bigger one. Don't settle down for a meager or smaller one. So aim big, and you will shoot this. You try to shoot the star. At least you will end up landing in moon. So with that first message, I would move on to the session of the day. Typically, for the benefits of the guest, our meeting consists of 3 sessions. First one is the prepared speakers. The second one is the table topic session, and the last one is the evaluation. In prepared speeches, our speakers who are the members, they will deliver their project speeches here, and they will be evaluated by eminent evaluators from our club, and they will be doing the evaluation in the last session. In between, we have a table topic session where our table topic master will be inviting the participants, including the guests, to deliver a speech, impromptu speech for 1 to 2 minutes. So we will go through these sessions. It will be more of entertaining, interesting and exciting session, I can assure you that. With that, I would like to move on to the next session of the day, which is the General Evaluator's introduction. For today, we have more of like a table topic session. We have an impromptu General Evaluator. So due to dropout of our General Evaluator, which was designated General Evaluator due to official reasons, I had to nominate or request our distinguished Toastmaster Guruprasad to take over the General Evaluator's role. To introduce DTM Guruprasad, I was thinking, because I didn't take his introduction, I was thinking something I should tell which is very unique about him. So this came up in my mind with a small phrase about him. Not only the humor bone, he has it in his senses as well. Whenever he comes on stage, he is not humorous, but the way he brings humor among ourselves is his unique differentiator, I would say. You will know about it, you will enjoy that, what I said about him now in the coming sessions. So I request DTM Guruprasad to come and introduce himself and his team of members.
Thank you very much, dear Toastmasters, guests and friends. A cool good afternoon to all of you. We deserve it today. I represent, as TMOD said, the evaluation team. I am the lead of the team called General Evaluator. And today, I exactly represent the theme of the day. I came in, I originally registered myself for a Grammarian role. I came in, he said, can you take up G role because of unexpected circumstances? Just thought for a minute, Guru, can you do it? What does the theme say? Just do it. I said, okay. Because we had no other time to check whether anybody is available. We even checked with one or two, everyone seems to be a role player today. So we decided to do it. So this theme also taught me a lesson today, how to be ready to just do it. So what am I going to do here today? I have two kinds of teams. One is a dynamic real-time team, as we call it in our industries. One is an offline team, I would say. They will come later. So this offline team will listen to all the speeches, make their own observations, and in the end, when I invite them, they'll come here and give feedback. They are called speech evaluators. This online team, the real-time team, who are engaged throughout the meeting, even before the start of the meeting, are three people called TAG, timer, accounter, and grammarian. Remember, all these roles are defined by Toastmasters International with a view that members learn various aspects of public speaking and leadership development skills. Every role has a meaning behind it, and the person grows one step above after playing that role for today. To introduce her role and the expectations, I would like to invite Toastmaster Paridhabangal on the stage with all her props and whatever she wants to carry.
So, the problem is we all think we have enough time, but how much we don't know. And that's what I'm here to help you with today. Greetings fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening. As timer, I'll time the table topics, speakers, formal speeches and the evaluations, and I will also alert each speaker on the time they have left using the cards that I have in my hand. So the table topic speakers should limit their remarks to not more than 2 minutes. At the first minute, I'll flash the screen card. At 1 minute 30 seconds, I'll flash the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I'll flash the red card. And an additional time of 30 seconds will be given. And those giving speeches should limit their remarks to specific time limits. Icebreaker speeches should be 4 to 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Most other speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 6 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I'll raise the red card. The individual evaluations should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 2 minutes 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I'll raise the red card. So please plan accordingly. All the best.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Pearl. I hope you'll also be observing everyone's time limits when they perform, including all the role players. Next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Prasanna to come here and explain about his role.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the R counter is to count the filler words and the filler sounds. The filler words are and, you know, and the filler sounds are we tend to use these filler words and the filler sounds when we think about the script. One suggestion is, instead of doing that, we can have a short pause, think about the script and start speaking again. That will increase the quality of the speech and the audience can able to interpret what we are trying to say. A long pause will also reduce the effectiveness. So I will be counting the filler words, filler sounds and the long pauses as well, and I will give the report at the end of the meeting and called by the general evaluator. Thank you.
Third role player, Grammarian, is none other than me. I am playing a dual role today. As a grammarian, my intent is to listen to everyone's speech and learn good English being spoken by our members, note down, and then report it to you on all their good usages. And at the same time, with my limited knowledge on the language and grammar, watch if the performers are doing any mistakes while delivering the language and point them out during my report. I also have an interesting role here to introduce a surprise element in the meeting called word of the day. So I'll be giving you a word that you may use during your speeches accordingly. Not just for the sake of giving a role, you should not be saying that word every sentence. You should use it properly, appropriately in your speech. That's a surprise element that happens in every Toastmasters meeting. And today's word is haphazard. Haphazard is, though you may argue, almost synonymous with just do it, but on a negative context. Just do it is a motivating word. Haphazard is somehow careless. You can be careless, but just get it done. Without any meticulous preparation or effort, you just get it done. I wanted to be very clear and meticulous in selecting the word of the day. I didn't want to do a haphazard action on doing it. This is one of the usages. Doing it recklessly, carelessly is called haphazard. So I encourage all of you to use this. So I'll be watching your performance, how many times you are able to use this word of the day, and give my report. I hereby solemnly vow that I will play my grammarian role to the best of my knowledge and effort. So help me, Ren and Martin. With this, I conclude my introductory evaluation session and hand it over to TM.
Thank you, impromptu general evaluator. Now we will move into the first session of our day, which is the prepared speeches sessions. We have three eminent speakers today, so who will come and deliver their project speeches. To start with, the first speaker is DTM Sundararaman. I request DTM Thomas to come and give the project objectives.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. First of the speeches today goes to the core of Toastmastering. It's the Level 2 Project 1. It's called Toastmaster Mentoring. The purpose of this project is for the speaker to clearly define how Toastmaster envisions mentoring. The underlying objectives are, it is to talk about a time when the speaker was himself a mentee, to bring out the impact of having a mentor. In other words, it's an experiential look at mentoring. I will be back with my comments when I'm called upon.
Thank you, DTM Thomas. DTM Sundararaman will be delivering his speech on engaging humor, level 2, project 1. The title of his speech is Mentoring Paridhabangal. Before I invite DTM Sundararaman, just would give a brief introduction about him. He is our former president of Medley Toastmasters and one of the key members in our club, and he has been very instrumental in the various education programs in our club as well. When I asked him about the theme of the day, his thought goes in somewhat against just do it. What his thought says that you have to be very cautious, exercise caution, weigh the pros and cons, and make well-informed choice. Don't make any haphazard decisions. Don't rush into every situation with overlooking into the situation and acting on the spot. So with that, with those thoughts, I invite our DTM Sundararaman to deliver his speech. Mentoring accountability.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, and decent number of guests today. So when a guest turns up Medley Toastmaster for the 5th meeting, he or she gets an opportunity to become a member. So once the member, the guest pays the fees and fills up the application form, the first job of VP Education is to assign a mentor for this new member. So once the VP Education called me and said, Sundar, the new member Dravid wants to take you as a mentor. Would you like to accommodate him? Yes, no problem, I can take him as my mentee. But Sundar, already you have 8 members as your mentees. How can you take care of them? Do you have enough bandwidth? Yes, of course, I can do that. How is that possible? Because in countries like us, not many people take everything serious, including Toastmasters. Out of 8 mentees, so only 2 people will be serious and 2 people will be approaching me. I have enough bandwidth to take care of. So that is the first aspect of the attitude of members and how serious they want to pursue their communication career. Long time back, I started my career in a hardcore oil and gas plant, and after a decade and 1.5 decades of experience, I moved to a real Pakka corporate office. The moment I joined this IT organization, a mentor was assigned to me. I was really excited. That was a new experience. Then I wrote a mail to my mentor, Dear Shaji, you have been assigned as my mentor and I am going to be your mentee. So I would like to meet you in the afternoon. So he said, yes, sure, we'll meet up in the afternoon by 3 o'clock. By the way, there is no term called a mentee. So it is called the protégé. Okay, I'm happy to be your protégé. I'll come and meet at 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock when I met there, Shaji, this is Sundar, I am your protégé. Sit down. First of all, this word is also not to be called as protégé. It is protégé. Protégé. It's a Latin word, protégé. Okay? There is no word called a mentee. So I think some of you will be by this time curious to know the etymology of the word mentor, mentee, protégé. So for employer, we have equivalent employee. Then we have guarantor, guarantee. The same manner people say that mentor and mentee. But if you try to do a little bit of research, mentoring or menting is not a verb. Employment is a verb, and through that we come to know about the term employer-employee. But mentoring, there is no verb called mentor. Mentor is actually a mythological Greek character in Odyssey, right? Mythological character called Odyssey, and this person was sharing his knowledge to all his the disciples. So that is how the mentor term got evolved. And the word protégé is again a French word. So the literal meaning of this word is to protect. So he is getting protected by his mentor. So that is all about the theoretical aspect of these terminologies. So sometimes the new member joins and he has been assigned as your protégé, but all of a sudden you will find his name in the agenda without your knowledge. He would have never consulted you, but you will find his name as one of the speakers. So once Rajesh was my mentor and his name was in the agenda, and
during the speech, actually I called him and said that you never talked to me and you have never shared your script with me, but your name is then. No, 10 days back I sent you a mail. But he could have informed me. Probably this mail would have landed in my spam folder. I don't check spam folder on a daily basis. You could have called me. No, I know that you are a busy person. Hey, I will decide that, Raj. So you don't take the decision. You just call me. If I am busy, then I would have declined the call and I would have returned the call. So that is the kind of attitude. And somehow he managed to do that project on the day. So if you are assigned with a mentor, send in the script and call him, send a SMS or do WhatsApp. So these are all the basic responsibilities of a protege in terms of mentoring. And the next week again Rajesh was doing a job of Toastmaster of the day, as you all know. So I think many of guests are here. The Toastmaster of the day is nothing but a master of ceremony, MC. But on that day, he actually he has read a novel the previous day and immediately he thought he can bring it as a theme. And he was speaking more than the speakers, all put together. The TMOD was speaking for almost 20 minutes. And totally it was a absurd show. Okay? And I asked him, Rajesh, you could have talked to me. So why you have taken up the role of a TMOD? No, I have never given a speech. I was assigned with a role. Yeah, whether you give a speech or play a role, you are my mentor. You are my protege. And for anything and everything, you should have talked to me. I would have told you what are the do's and don'ts. And even after performing the role, you should approach me and take my feedback. So that is where Rajesh was so serious, and the next week he called me, sir, when should I go for bed? When should I get up in the morning? Yeah, when I meant anything and everything, it is not about everything. So it is all with respect to Toastmastering. So that is all about the scope of mentoring and taking mentorship. How many of you have, do we have any couple Toastmasters here? I think Guru had once, his wife was also a member here. And my wife was also a member here in the same club. So I used to be a mentor for her and she used to be a mentor for me. So for preparing her script, I will be the mentor. For delivery aspect, she will be the mentor. And when I don't do the delivery properly, especially during contest time, she will immediately ask me to do it 10 times like a student. So this is the classic example of which is educated. So this is about mentoring. But today, if you talk about the mentoring, lot of advancements have happened. Technology is playing a huge role. I think some of you are already familiar that Toastmaster International has tied up with a company called Udly. So this company is all about artificial intelligence. And there is a section where you can go and there switch on your laptop, switch on the webcam, and you can give a speech, your prepared speech. Or you can also take the service of table topic. The system will allocate you a topic and you can give a speech. And once you switch off the camera, within few minutes you will get a detailed report. How many passes you have made, what is the time taken by you, whether you have made eye contact with the camera or the audience, and of course the rate of delivery, etc., etc. But the day is not far off. One day this technology will also say that your speech was so boring. All your jokes were okay like DTM Sundararaman speech. So day is not far off. So till that time we have to avail the members' service as the mentor. Over to TMOD.
Thank you, DTM Sundararaman. Next, we move on to the second speech of the day of Toastmaster Dinakaran. To read out his project objectives and speech objectives, I request Toastmaster Praveena to come on stage.
Good evening, everyone. Today, the speaker, Toastmaster Dinakaran, will be presenting a speech on the Dynamic Leadership Pathway Module 11.4. The project title is Building a Social Media Presence. This could be for a professional or personal purpose or goal. Ideally, the speaker must have spent some time building a new or enhancing an existing social media presence. He may choose to speak about the experience as a whole or focus on just one or two aspects. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech
and it should not be a report on the content of building a social media presence project. Thank you.
When I asked Toastmaster Dinakaran about the theme of the day, it goes with his usual thoughts. Many times we spend time, on planning and doing things with information and data that we have in hand, but sometimes we need to go with our instinct. What we think, we should go ahead and do it. I think that's the crux of his message. With that, I would like to invite Toastmaster Dinakaran to deliver his speech titled, Who Are You? Who are you, Toastmaster Dinakaran?
Thank you, TMOD. It has been a long time for me to come and give a speech here. So, VPA like one day called me and then you are giving a speech this week and asked me to prepare. So, going by the theme of the day, so I said, okay, let's just do it. So that's why I have taken up this opportunity. But as usual, I was not able to spend time in preparing the script, and as DTM Sundararaman sir told that giving it to the mentor and reviewing it. So I'm coming when I was there in college doing the UG, we had internals, but they don't count the mark. So normally the once the internal gets over, right, we'll have the study holidays and then the exams will get started. So what I did once, there was an English exam, so I went to the exam hall and then I was trying to write maths and then try to solve the sums in the English exam, and then in the hope that they will not correct, since the main exam is going to start, so they never correct the English papers and give the mark. So then for my surprise, when I was going to collect the hall ticket, they called me, they didn't give me the hall ticket, they told me to visit the English department HOD and then come and collect the hall ticket. So like that, today I'm kind of not prepared for the topic that was given. I was thinking that why don't we come and discuss here with the members and then create a script and then deliver it, is what I was thinking about. So that's what I'm going to do. So to get started, social media presence. So before that, what is social media? Can anyone it's going to be very interactive, so don't feel free, because I need script from you guys. So so when we talk about life, right, we have personal life and social life. Personal life is something that what we do within our, what we do ourselves at home, and others wouldn't know. When we say, I immediately say social, that means that it's to the outside world. We are going to express ourselves, what we do and then what we think, everything is going to be in the open world. That's what I feel. So if we talk about social media, so what are all the different types of media we use? Again, when you talk about media, it's going to be open to the world, everyone would hear, everyone would see. So now we need to have a clear understanding of social media, the power of social media, and the effects of social media, right? So that's clear. It's not anymore personal. When we say social, it's kind of open to everybody, open to the world. So now we're talking about types of social media. What type of work? How many types of social media we have? Maybe the names. Yeah, yes sir. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Okay. WhatsApp. See, I was thinking is WhatsApp is a social media tool, or I was just trying to debate myself.
More like one kind of communication.
More like a personal media.
More like it's not like everyone can come and see what we are communicating. So anyways, it's not a detailed one. So so we'll keep the WhatsApp aside and talk about Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn and Instagram. Okay. So there are multiple views we can have, right? So let's ask Keith, yeah. So how do you think about social media? You think it's good or bad? And it's a miracle, and it helps a lot. It helps us to build ourselves.
It's like a double-edged sword.
Wonderful. Okay, it's like a double-edged sword.
It will make people narcissist.
Okay.
Ego. For example, it all depends in Instagram. It all depends on our liking.
how many millions of followers. Wonderful. So I'll summarize. So before that, ma'am, like, would you like to tell? So I'm just trying to approach different types of people. So yeah, just feel free. Yeah, that's okay. So you have your accounts in any of the social media. You follow somebody, you like somebody. Okay.
I don't know about it.
Okay. So nothing. Okay. So what about your kids? Your kids are into. Okay. Okay, wonderful. Okay. Sir, would you like to comment something?
Yeah, I too am not active on social media. I only have WhatsApp.
Okay.
So, but I know social media has great impact on people, and it has of course positive and as well as negative.
Alright. So you didn't get a chance. Yeah, please. Yeah, you can comment anything, whatever you want to say. Yeah.
So I would say it's a place to understand things as well as deliver what is there in your mind or about any specific concept. So that's what I want to say about social media.
Okay, thank you. I only got a green card, so I need to please summarize. So if you look at it, right, the inputs. So we have got it from different types of people. So Kritik has clearly put the summary, like it is a double-edged sword, right? Like I am a person in IT. I have around 22-23 years of experience, but I still don't know or not able to decide myself that whether should I really use this social media effectively. Is it going to add any value, or what type of value it is going to add? There are scenarios where people scroll and be in the phone and look at every 10 minutes like how many likes they have got for the pictures, the message they have posted, or they go through the comments, they react to it. There are like a lot of trolling happening, like people are abusing and other things, right? So that is one side of it. The other side of it, when I go through the Instagram, lot of motivational videos I see, lot of personal improvement messages or videos I see. So sometimes I refresh myself or regenerate myself with those contents. So this is the other side. On the other side, there are people who want to portray themselves in a way, right? Though there is scenarios where they are not happy or there are some issues, but still they want to tell some different or show different face to the world. Okay. So multiple aspects in it, in the social media presence and then creating the brand into it. At the end of the day, it is within us, as told, like it's a double-edged sword. It is up to us whether you think the social media is a miracle, it's positive, it helps us. But if we use it in a different way, it is going to harm us. With that, I hand it over to TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dinakaran. So next we move on to the last speaker of the day, the project speaker of the day. The speaker is Toastmaster Renga. To read his project objectives, I request Toastmaster Jagan on stage.
Thank you, Venkat. Toastmaster Ranga, my dear friend, he is delivering his speech from the pathway Effective Coaching, Level 5. It's an elective project which is leading in your voluntary organization. The purpose of this project is twofold. The first purpose is for the member to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer organization. The second purpose is for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience serving as a leader in a voluntary organization. All the very best, friend.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jagan. Well, Toastmaster Renga, as soon as I hear this name, after I joined Medley, whenever I hear this name, one leadership style always comes into my mind: servant leadership. He is the person, the go-to person for any kind of support, any kind of help, not only in Medley Toastmasters, even outside Medley Toastmasters, even on your personal life. He's the go-to person for any kind of support. When I asked him about the theme of the day, I do agree with him. Overthinking leads to analysis paralysis. So sometimes it is good to go with just do it. I will explain about this in my further speeches about the theme. At this point, I request and I invite Toastmaster Venga to be on stage to deliver his speech titled B2E, Toastmaster Venga.
Multiple uses for a prompt. So good afternoon. On 15th of May 2021, I was elected as the president of Medley Toastmasters. But Toastmaster Rangarajan Nayan was my proxy because my father had passed away just the day before. Good afternoon, friends. Following the footsteps of DTM Thomas and Toastmaster Rangarajan as the president of Medley was a tough task. But I hope I had learned something from them, something valuable where I could run the post of the president for the next 6 months. The prior terms had a motto, and my motto was M2E. The capital M's stood for meeting efficiency and mentorship, and the two E's are for the meeting, for the efficiency and entertainment. The first and most important thing for every meeting was the EXCOM. We had to get together and decide about the variety of the meetings that we are going to conduct, as well as the organization structure. And what I felt was engaging with the members was very important, and their participation was very crucial in the functioning of the meetings. There were two members who were diffident and a little bit shy. So what happened was, one of them was the Sergeant at Arms. He had a little bit of a difficulty in speaking long sentences. And when he voiced this out to me, I had a Zoom session with him, and I asked him to cut the sentences into 3 or 4. And that seemed to help. We had sessions where he would converse with me, and once he was comfortable, he was able to get on the stage. Remember, this was during COVID, and all the meetings were online. So he got over that, and he was very successful even in his official career. The second one was a direct contrast. He was a bubbly person, but he used to speak rapidly. So to such an extent that we could not understand what he was saying, and he used to use all the filler words so that we could not understand whether there was a pause or whether there was a full stop. So I thought of something unique, and we had a Zoom session where I asked him to read fairy tales, and fairy tales had a lot of conversations. So that way he was able to stop at the punctuation marks and learn about going slowly with the flow, and that helped him. The second was to spot leadership. So during my term, we had a milestone meeting, and I was looking around, and I found a very young member who was very eager to do stuff, and he was capable of organizing things. So I asked him to go ahead with the flow and said, okay, you organize this milestone meeting. And he did it with perfect aplomb. Whenever there were any issues, he was able to immediately look at it and find a solution, which was the most important thing. And the person was none other than the incoming president, TM Venkataseshan. awards are the only recognition for volunteer members. Then BPPR, Toastmaster Saravanan, used to send out flyers by the dozen. But he felt that there was absolutely no recognition for what was being sent. The moment I realized it, when it was brought to my attention, I immediately started giving him accolades for what he had sent, because it is a volunteer organization and he is spending his time and effort. So that was very, very important. The fourth is for the fourth one was general the success of the organization. The success of the organization depends on two factors. One is the administrative part of it, and the other one is the way we conduct ourselves. For administration, what had happened was 2 years prior to my term, just before COVID started, the president and the treasurer were in different places, and the two of them had already left the organization. And we lost our net banking access with our bankers. So I took it upon myself, as soon as the code was receding, to go to the bank and to begin the process of setting all the papers in order. It was a tough job, because I had to collect all the address was in one place and the persons were in different place. So I collected all these, and my treasurer was in Tuticorin working from home. So I was able to bring all these things together and ensure that we got our net access back. And to date, I'm happy that the process is continuing on an auto mode. Next is the Golden Gavel. I would like to talk about the Golden Gavel. The 2 terms prior to mine, they worked very diligently to get the Golden Gavel. This is only for one aspect. The district recognizes, or it is a matter of pride for every organization to get the Golden Gavel. And we got it. During my term, what had happened was, I was able to get 72 out of the 85 points, and I wanted to give a fair chance to my successor to go ahead and get it done. So, and more importantly, we had something called a buddy club. And our buddy club was found out, the buddy club Verizon at RMZ was found out by my VP, DTM Sampath, and we had very interesting meetings with them. And to carry it forward, our Tala MSD says, follow the process. Once you follow the process, results will automatically come in. With that, I did the best that I could do to get my M2E in place.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ranga. So with this, we end the prepared speakers session. How was the session?
Great.
Great. So now we are moving to the next session where there will be a lot of work for your brain. Every time, whenever DTM Sampath starts speaking here, your heart will start pumping. So with that, I invite DTM Sampath Sowrirajan to conduct the table topic session. Before that, I request our timer, please share the names of qualified speakers.
DTM Sundararaman and TM Ranga.
DTM Sundararaman and Toastmaster Ranga. I think all the members are having a voting slip. Please vote for the best speaker between these two speakers. I'll give it 10 seconds. With that, I hand over the stage to DTM Sampath Sowrirajan to take us through the table topic session.
Good afternoon, friends. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and lots of guests. He introduced me saying, when I come and speak here, it's a hot start.
Hot start.
I think he was talking about young girls. When I come here and speak. That's what I like to think. Just do it fits this session more than anything else. because so to say you don't have time to prepare, you have not prepared, you come here and just do it. I think today's theme fits this session more than any other session. Who are the members not having any role? You are having a role? No. I don't think there are any members without a role. No. So if you want to, okay, Madam is there. If you want to call any member, so usually the convention is to call members first. Toastmaster Jagan. We have got very few members without role. So,
Evaluator. I'm an evaluator. He is the appropriate person.
Why? It's okay.
The rehearsal.
We talk a lot. At the area level, division level, district level.
Day after tomorrow.
The topic for you is, when you speak as a Toastmaster, is there a place for truth? When you speak as a Toastmaster, is there a place for truth? Toastmaster Jagan.
If there is no space for truth, I would not be standing here. I can definitely tell you there is space for exaggeration. There is no space for lies. Whether there is a space for truth or not is subjective. It's for each of us to realize our place, what is our strength. Now for me, all the speeches that I have delivered, there have been parts of exaggerated things, but most of them have been truthful. Truth when mixed with rhetoric, is that what becomes exaggeration? DTM Sampath. You have read your wise tell me, truth mixed with rhetoric, is that what exaggeration is all about? But we can have rhetoric when we speak, correct? We can't escape rhetoric. When I describe a scene that happened at my home, I'm of course going to add rhetoric. I'm going to say the moon fell down, but the moon cannot fall down. I'm using rhetoric to be able to give the feeling that I had. For example, I was reading Harry Potter. She goes on to say every time Harry feels very down, the author writes as though a frozen sword is going inside his body and cutting his muscles. That's not going to happen. But still that is rhetoric that will help us communicate how I actually felt, how Harry felt at that moment. Now for me, when I say, the first time I was delivering a speech, I had so many rhetoric. My mentor came and said, Jagan, this is not going to work. If you go on talking rhetoric, it's not going to work. Although you may be truthful to yourself, you may be truthful to the story, but the rhetoric has to come down. So the answer to your question is, there is space for truth, there is no space for lies, there is space for exaggeration, which is truth and rhetoric mixed together. Over to you.
So you can all be very happy to come here. There is place for truth. So you will not find it difficult. Next, let me call one of the guests, Rangarajan. Are you a Toastmaster? Are you a Toastmaster? First time, okay. I want to make it difficult or more difficult, that is what I want to say. What's your idea of a perfect evening? What's your idea of a perfect evening? Yes, Rangarajan.
It's for me, for the audience.
What's your idea?
So answering to your question, sir, perfect evening when we come from the home, from our work area, it may be related to the business people and as well as those who are working with the corporate, right? So when it comes with the satisfaction that I have done something better than the yesterday, today, and I was in the position to deliver my commitment for the day, and when I come home back with the peace, so for me it would be the perfect evening in the current situations.
Evening is over?
Yes, thank you.
Everybody wants to have a perfect evening, and you have to talk about it. The evening is over in 1 minute or so. I thought you will take more time than the allowed time.
It will take little more time for me to deliver more than a minute.
You are a guest. You are a guest. Please come. I got some names, but I don't know. You are Manju, right? What do you have to say about the evil of buy two get one free? What do you have to say about the evil of buy two get one free? Guess Manju.
Sorry, sir, no idea, sir.
Normally we don't do it, but we can give another talk.
Have you ever purchased anything in a buy two get one offer?
What is wrong with the
Talk about
concept?
it.
That
What
is-
was your experience? What was good? What was bad? What did you purchase? Share your experience. That's fine.
Can I speak in Tamil, sir?
What did you buy to get one?
Can I speak in Tamil?
Well, this is actually
For parents of 3 children, it is a very good thing. May not be for others.
No, okay. You give some other topic otherwise.
The leader of your choice and why he is your choice. The leader of your choice, anybody, national leader, international leader, social or anywhere, the leader of your choice and why that person is your choice.
I like Rangarajan because he gives education and then he introduces midday meals. No, it is I'm so nervous, sir.
That's why you are here.
Right.
Go ahead.
Hey, in future you will be a great speaker, but this is how we have started.
He is uneducated, but he gives education to the poverty people. He lives a simple life. He's a great leader, sir.
Well done. Well done, you have taken the first steps. No looking back from now. Rekha. This is the first time for you or?
Yeah, first time.
Good easy one or tough one?
Easy, very easy.
Do Indians need a special Mother's Day? Do Indians need a special Mother's Day? Yes, Rekha.
In this gender, I feel every day that I have in my life after I becoming a mother, it's a day to celebrate. So I don't feel there's a need to celebrate, especially a Mother Day. That's my opinion.
Now you have still 2 minutes to talk. Till the green card appears.
Oh, okay. Well, that is applicable for us as well as
Everyone.
Oh my God, I didn't know this one. I had a kind of a guilt in my life after my mother passed away. The reason being the time at which my mother passed away, due to different kind of a life situations, I couldn't know the value of a mother. After missing her, I understood what it mean to be a mother, and every day, it's been 8 years now, so every day I feel that as soon as you get an opportunity to take care of your mother, so we have to do that. So in that way, I resonate myself, I reflect myself to be a great mother for my son. That's how I feel a mother's thing is very special for every one of us. Is that okay?
Actually, it was a slip on my part. 2 minutes is the time. 1 minute is minimum and 2.5 is maximum if you want to be counted for voting as a good speaker or the best speaker. You can speak more. If you cross 3.5 minutes, maybe you'll start clapping, that's a different thing. But this is the standard format of the table topics. Can you come? What was here or here?
Yes.
Mr. George. I think with all your experience, I can give you a really tough one.
Not so.
Have you in your childhood stoned down mangoes? Have you in your childhood stoned down mangoes? Talk about that, Mr. Judge.
Yes, plenty of them. I come from a rural background. My childhood days were in the rural surroundings, and unfortunately there was no mango tree in my plot, but there were plenty in the neighbors' plots. And then in the evenings during the mango season, I would go and climb the mangoes, pluck them and have them on the tree itself. So that was the best time that I had. And of course there would be also friends who would also climb the mango tree and enjoy the juicy fruits. Of course the neighbors were very generous. They had no objection in children climbing up the tree, and that was a blessing for us. And we had variety of mangoes, because there are the native varieties, the other hybrid varieties. So we had a lot of choice in choosing the mangoes. And once the summer comes, this was the best time that we enjoyed. And most of those days were the school, when the school would be closed and it was vacation. And so we had the best time climbing the mango trees and enjoying the juicy fruits. Thank you.
Toastmaster Gomati, you speak from there or here? Okay.
We are calling again. Last equal
Okay, the topic for you is to stay youthful, stay useful. To stay youthful, stay useful. Toastmaster Gomati.
Thank you for that good topic. I think we have to be useful all the time. Not only when you are young, but always. Especially when you are old, it adds more. Because you have a lot of experience to share. You know the ups and downs of life, and you can put in all the good ideas you have to make younger generation learn from you, to have a more useful time in their life. And as an elderly person, the person will also have a good satisfaction that she is or he is doing a good thing to the society by helping them. Thank you very much.
I put this down from memory. I think it is a quote from John Keats. You can pick it later on. Mr. Sukumar. Mr. Sukumar, where is your wristwatch? Where is your wristwatch? Mr. Sukumar, nowadays nobody is wearing wristwatch. This is the topic. Why? What do you think?
Nowadays, wristwatches have become more of an accessory, just for like dressing up and stuff like that. So if you just want to look at the time, people just take out their phones and just look at them. So for the basic invention of the device was just for like looking at the time anywhere you wanted to. But then this started like, this went down, this turned into a sense of fashion. It never became
But why are you not wearing any wristwatch?
the same reason, sir. Even I am not wearing a wristwatch because I just feel this is just for dressing up and if you just want to look at the time, I just look at my phone or the wall clock that is hanging out.
What do you think of people wearing wristwatch?
People wearing 2 crore wristwatch.
Double watch.
2 crore rupees wristwatch.
Yeah, nowadays watches are also used to like show off your status in society. This is not for like, if you look at a person, you judge them by their appearance first. So you just look at the watch, the dress they're wearing, the shoes, and how their entire way of walking, speaking to you is, everything like that. Thank you.
Don't judge a man by his watch. Ranga, your neighbor is a guest. Huh? Because you are not introduced in the beginning. I was not sure.
Ajit.
Your good name?
Ajit.
Ajit. You are a guest?
Yeah, guest. He's a
Are you a
Toastmaster.
Toastmaster elsewhere?
Yes, he's a Toastmaster.
Then I can give you a tough one. Our equally easy or equally tough. Are you poetic?
Poetic?
Poetic? Are you poetic?
Make him poetic. Dialogue or poetry?
If all human beings were colorblind, ... If all humans were colorblind, what will happen? Talk about that.
Great topic. If all humans are color blind, that's really great, because I still remember when we bought the first television and we had that old style antenna. I don't know how many people had seen it, that long one with slats on it. So I persuaded my father to buy the best television. And it came home, and I had seen a lot of advertisements. That time there was a brand called Solitaire, Dynora. So in newspaper it say you can see the color, exact color of the newsreader. You can see the eyelashes. And they fitted the TV, switched on the TV. I'm seeing a lot of grains in it. And from then on, every day my exercise is to turn the antenna to the direction, because I know it's directional, we have to turn it. And did not work out. And these grains are in all colors, so I hated those RGB grains on the television. That's the time I thought, oh, if it was black and white, at least that black and white dots will merge. We have less difficulty. Same when I started hunting for cameras. Megapixel, color science, lot of stuff. So we should have avoided a lot of complexity. If we can just look at a black and white camera and buy it.
No need of color sense, complexity. And of course, people look very good in black and white than in color or shade.
Spoke well, but a man is a man is a man. If only I had given it to one of the ladies, precious stones, dresses, flowers, all these things would have come in the speech. Talk about television. Who is that last? Are you a guest?
Member.
Okay. Even with this, I had to go for an operation. So I think all ladies are beautiful. Don't mistake me. Any guest who has not had a chance, I can give one more topic. I didn't hear your name when you introduced yourself because you were talking to me in that direction, but I wasn't there. What's your good name?
Kirtan George.
Kirtan George. Mr. Kirtan George. Friends or relatives? Which is your preferred choice? Friends or relatives? Should say who is your preferred choice? Kirtan George.
Friends or relatives, I would choose my friends most of the time because
Age. Because of your age.
yeah, it's not also because of my age, like because most of my relatives, like my cousins and everyone, they are like, they have an age difference of about like 10, 12 years. So while my friends are of my like this same age and they are my classmates and whom I mostly spend most of my time in school and colleges. So we know more about them. While my relatives, we generally meet them like once in 4 years in some marriage functions and generally in some occasions like once in 4 years or 3 years, and they will always be like already aged. And basically, I don't really know much of my relatives' name. I generally forget my relatives' name and they say that because I only know them by their picture, but mostly I forget the names because we have a huge family, so I generally tend to forget my relatives. By my friends, even though I'm a bit introvert, I don't really talk much to my friends, but I have some few close friends too. I can share my whole opinions, my feelings with, and they mostly, whenever a friend in need is always a friend indeed. So sometimes before like 1 hour before the exams, we would discuss, group discuss, and some of my friends would just like that I didn't study anything, like I have no idea much, but next. And when the exam result comes, you just get about like 90 above, and I'll be the one. So I would always say a friend is always better than the relatives. Thank
you. Don't let your relatives hear what you say. I've just finished my time. If the TMOD allows, I can give one more topic. Choice. One more topic. Anybody, any guest who is left out?
You can also invite one Toastmaster.
2 Toastmasters are there. Yes.
And we can go ahead for the chance for the Toastmasters. There are 2 Toastmasters without room.
Your name?
Smriti.
Smriti.
Yeah.
I guess you joined already.
Oh, I'm a guest.
You married?
No. I'm in college.
It doesn't matter. These two are independent things. Anyway, the topic for you is, what is the future of marriage? What is the future of marriage in our modern world?
What is the future of marriage in our modern world?
In our modern world, what is the future of marriage?
the future of marriage in our modern world, right? That is the topic, right? Okay. So taking the example of our parents or the relatives, their generation was different from our generation. So what marriage means to them does not mean the same to us. That is our generation, not me. Don't mistake me. So generally when I look at my parents or my relatives, what happens is, the understanding they have, and generally, sorry that I'm nervous, but then I'll try to speak.
You're talking about relatives?
I was talking about parents and relatives. Okay. The thing is, the best example when the word marriage comes to my mind, the thing that strikes my mind is the amount of work the guy and the girl does in their house. So for example, in housework, generally what happens is when the newly married couples right now, what they do is they divide housework between them. But then if we look at our parents or our grandparents, they do not have the housework divided between them. Like I feel like 90% or 95% of the housework is done by the ladies. But then in this generation, most of the housework is divided like 50-50 between the guy and the girl, which is actually a good thing. So I think the future of marriage would be better, and I hope that most of the people now, I hope they understand that the work has to be divided between both of them, and
Understandable. She feels nervous thinking about marriage. Toastmaster of the day. Can I ask the timer to name the qualified TT speakers? Name.
We can give
Huh?
one more speech.
One more speech? Okay. One more speech.
There was one Toastmaster who was not given a TD.
Who is that one Toastmaster?
There are two.
Shanmugam.
In the beginning I asked you, I thought you said you are having a role, you are taking some notes serious, I thought. Please come.
You can go for it.
I heard your speech on the video. I didn't come that it was a good speech. Shanmugam, I have to give you a tough thing because you are coming here. Marble is for playing, not for flooring. Marble is for playing, not for flooring.
Marble. Usually marble we have seen in our houses, they are putting in the floor. But if you see the children, they are playing. Even though we want to keep them neat and clean, but children, they are using tricycle, like that they are playing. But even though this, I feel some kaba hazard feeling. But I want to try to tell something. Marble, mostly it is not available in southern part of India. Mostly it is available in northern India, especially in Rajasthan, like that. But those people are there in Tamil Nadu also. They are working, the Rajasthan people, for granite and marble flooring. But sir has told it is for not for flooring, it is for playing. It can be used for that round conic. Yes, in my, not only I am local, I have played this one in my childhood. In my place. Yes, but my children are not playing nowadays. It has to be introduced. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, friends, I am very sure all of you would have liked the topics I gave you, except the one standing here. Whatever topic I gave, everybody had a lot of ideas. Oh, I can say this. except the person here, there will be a slight difficulty. But as you go along in Toastmasters, you will overcome that. You will get a lot of your ideas, and then you will be able to do. This is a very good training ground, this session. Never miss it.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. Usually I used to give my yarn on the theme of the day in between table topic session and the general evaluators session. But today, since we had a wonderful and interactive table topic sessions participated by mostly all the participants here, so I would like to cut off my session and then we will move on to the general evaluation session. So I request DTM Guruprasad to come and take over stage.
Thank you very much. I am back again to play the major portion of my prime role and a smaller portion of my secondary role as well. Now starts the third very important session in any Toastmasters meeting, which is evaluation. You have seen so many things happening, and how did those offline team, you remember I used the word called offline team, they sit silently in a corner, note down something about the speeches being given. Now they are here to explain how did they listen to their speeches, what is their feedback, opinion about the speeches. The first speech was delivered by distinguished Toastmaster Sundararaman on his project manual, and it will be evaluated by distinguished Toastmaster Thomas in a couple of seconds. Before I invite him onto the stage, Toastmaster Thomas is a very senior person both in his career as well as in Toastmasters, and he is one unique person. While we all joined Toastmasters fresh to learn and grow in communication skills, he already had a career, professional career in communication skills, and he joined into Toastmasters. That's one small difference I found between distinguished Toastmaster Thomas and most of us others. Rest is history. Most of us who have ever acquainted with DTM Thomas know about him and how he delivers, how he demonstrates, and he helps other Toastmasters. When it comes to aligning him with theme of the day, of course I had a small chat. I suddenly recognized one day I was playing the TMOD role in a meeting, or I was playing some role, and suddenly we had finished the meeting by 4:30 itself. We had almost half an hour pending. I think one of the speakers got dropped or something. Then we had a small discussion and we conducted an impromptu session, not speech. I think I was asked to conduct the session. I invited DTM Thomas and we started talking about using how to effectively use English language, all that stuff. Then I asked him, sir, there is a session now. Are you willing to do it? He said, we'll just do it. And that's what I remember of him with respect to the theme of the day. Over to you, DTM Thomas.
Thank you very much for that highly motivating callback from the past. Good afternoon, and my speaker, yes, there we go. So, when the manual asks you, demands you, orders you to serve two masters, what do? You will gingerly get into a ride on humor on the back of the project content. That's exactly what we saw with Toastmaster Sundararaman. I must explain. This was a very serious project about proving the worth of mentoring, and the medium he used was humor. We will look at it closely whether it helped or not. He talked from the past, the earliest, he talked about the future, he talked about evaluation by artificial intelligence. Broadly, there are three things I liked about this and three things I would suggest you have a relook at. The three things I liked: he proved his source credibility without a doubt. 15 years in Toastmasters. We know him as a serious Toastmaster. And he didn't say that out of humility. 2 times DTM. 2 times DTM. So there couldn't have been a better candidate to give a testimony, like in a religious sect often, to convince people they must go for mentoring. Second, he used chronology, so it was easy to follow the stages of mentoring that was used. And third, the vital central truth about Toastmastering, the relationship between mentor and mentee. Send the email, send the WhatsApp. Where a lot of people fail, I think that was the central truth revealed without much noise. What could have been better? I find my problem is the requirements overwhelm the delivery. The requirements of this project talks about share your experience as a protege, bring out the impact of this mentoring on both sides. These are lofty requirements that would have added value to this audience. And there couldn't be a better candidate to deliver this, like I said. Now, what could have been done differently? My suggestion is central. Don't serve two masters at the same time. Go for the core, which is convincing this young audience the importance of mentoring. I have no right I can only suggest in a common sense kind of way. There's no theory to help support me there. Secondly, a small little thing. Paridhabangal. I still don't know. You at least have left one person not knowing what that means. Third, humor. The problem with humor is when you go skim through various things, you don't get a chance to drill down and really bring out the humor in all instances. Humor also clouds delivery of the meeting. I would stop with that, given the tyranny of the timer.
Thank you very much, TM Thomas. So the next speech that was delivered by Toastmaster Dinakaran is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Praveena, a mother of 2 teenage kids and also an adventurous lady on her pursuits, and also a normal human being because she watches Netflix forever. Like all of us, she's an interesting joiner into Medley. We have already seen her active participation. She's an experienced Toastmaster outside of India and now joined with us. She says the theme is just do it. Okay, let me just do it. It's a straightforward answer from among the team. I welcome her to deliver her evaluation.
Good evening once again. Toastmaster Dinakaran, who are you? So you started with our age-old feeling of going to the college, getting hall ticket, the nervousness that we used to feel. So it brought us back to having good old memories or not so great memories about exams. So still, that is one thing which all of us can get hooked to whenever there is something about exams that is talked about, the palpitation, the stress, and also something about exams which gets everyone looking at you. Oh, what is he going to say? And then you finally came into your topic of the objectives, basically about social media. So I was thinking, why has he got hall ticket and exams into this kind of a speech? And then I realized that, okay, he was being interactive. He wanted to be interactive like a teacher-student in a classroom. So you got people asking them what social media is, found out what the different social media platforms are, what are the ways in which you should interact in the social media, the do's and don'ts. You were extremely confident, comfortable, you had good eye contact with everyone, and there was absolutely no sign of nervousness because this floor is more like a second home or even the first home for you, and basically you are a comfortable public speaker. And smart, really smart, because with your charisma, you try to put down the major objective of this particular speech. Which actually I did a bit of homework, otherwise even I would have been mesmerized with your performance and I would have gone, oh my, he's really done a great job. But yes, there are a few objectives which you need to actually take into consideration when you do this particular project. One of it is the most important is, what is the personal or professional goal in using the social media? When you're using the social media, how has it helped you to achieve your personal or professional goal? And after that, you also have to find out how best it worked for you. So basically, it's about taking an aim, a goal of yours in life, and how social media has helped you to further your achievements. So except for that, everything else was there. So it was basically like a discussion on what social media is. Though it was extremely useful and all of us found it extremely interesting, but still being a Toastmaster on a platform and being an evaluator over here, I have to urge you to follow the objectives, and if required, maybe if you can redo the project. Being an evaluator the first time and having asked you to say this, I think everyone will remember me as an evaluator for a very long time now. Thank you so much. But all in all, keeping aside the objective, it was interesting. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Praveena. The third speech was delivered by Toastmaster Ranga, and it's going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Jagan. We all know the person. He is the person who made most of the Medley Toastmasters just do it. What? Just do what? How many of you remember? I could never believe that I can sing a song and get it recorded and get it played in every milestone meeting of Medley. You remember the anthem effort he took in and identifying right people for the right language, giving the script, asking about sing, recording it, assimilating it. He just did it. I have a different story from him for the theme. I decided to avoid because I think this is the right way of introducing him. He made us all just do it. Over to you, Toastmasters again.
So, mediocre leader tells, a good leader explains, a great leader demonstrates and inspires. I am sure Toastmaster Ranga, through his 6 months of stint as the president of Medley, demonstrated and for times to come after inspired us. And I get inspired. I was not part of Medley that term, and I could hear stories from my mentor. I would have calls with Ranga. He would tell me the stories of how it is going on. I got inspired, and I know personally of all those 6 incidents that he had mentioned in his speech. His project objective is to share his experience of leading in a voluntary organization. So this is a voluntary organization, and he was the president of the club, as he mentioned, and he got selected in the month of May. 6 months he delivered his presidentship role. The strengths of this speech. There are 2 ways that I want to evaluate. Now, one, the speech with its objectives and the way that he delivered. So the strengths of the speech in accordance with the objectives is that if you go to the manual, page 9 and page 10, there are 10 things that it says. Like appreciate participation. These are leadership skills that you could involve, that you could apply in your speeches. Appreciate participation, encourage support, recognize potential. There are 10 things, and I'm sure Ranga had given enough time, gone over the manual, spent time on this, and made sure that all of these 10 or some of them were part of his speech. And I want to appreciate you, Ranga, for going through the manual and reading it, giving a speech in accordance with the objectives that it was intended to. That's the first strength that I see. Now, 6 things that he mentioned. Now, one, the first experience of the Sergeant at Arms, the experience of Sergeant at Arms, where he showed encouragement and support, mentioned in one of the 10. The second, bubbling Toastmaster, where he had spent time in Zoom, fairy tales, encourage and support. The third thing is this recognizing potential with respect to Venkat, and he is the incoming president. He made sure to mention that he is the incoming president because in his term, he was the milestone coordinator, recognizing potential, providing opportunity, and VPPR, when he talked about Saravanan, were appreciating effort and acknowledging the participation as well. It goes on all those 10, 6 or 7 of them were there. That's the second strength that I see in your speech. Now, where could you have done with respect to the project? The project also talks about 360-degree review. Was there a 360-degree review after 6 months? Did you conduct? Did you get feedback from your ex-com, the rest of your leadership team? Was there a succession plan? We didn't know about any succession plan. Who was the president after you? How did you transfer your knowledge to that president? That is part of it, and I'm not nitpicking or cherry picking, but it is given in the evaluation form itself that the member can talk about the 360-degree feedback. And I'm going beyond time, but overall, the speech had the strengths of you going through the manual ditto. It's not a speech per se, it's a project. So I'm not going to go into delivery, how he delivered, was there humor, none of that stuff. But it was in accordance with the project. 6 of the 10 things that you mentioned were in the project, but few things, the 360-degree and the succession plan, would have also been included. All the very best. Over to you.
Thank you very much. With that, you hear the feedback from 3 different evaluators on those 3 different project speeches. I hope you also have your own observation and evaluation of those speeches. You are free to express it to the respective speakers at the end of the meeting, when we are going to have some socializing at the end. It's not just those 3 people who need to give feedback. Everyone sitting here can give your feedback to the speaker, but these 3 people are officially nominated in today's meeting to give specific feedbacks, and Toastmasters platform also trains its members on how to give a polite but productive feedback to the speakers. That's what you just saw over here. Madam Timer, Miss Timer, could you please tell me how many qualified evaluators we have?
The qualified evaluators are DTM Thomas, TM Praveena, TM Jagannathan.
Okay, all the 3 are qualified, so you may cast your vote for whoever you think is the best evaluator. Could you also please read the qualified table topic speakers? Give a few seconds for them to cast their ballot for the evaluators. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. There is already 5 seconds. You're done. Okay, read the 10 table topics.
The qualified table topic speakers, TM Jagan, guest Manju, guest Rekha, guest George, TM Gopati, guest Sukumaran, guest Ajit Kumar, guest Kirtan George, guest Smriti, and TM Shanmugam.
I know it's a tough job to remember all those speakers and speeches, but please do it. That's your leadership challenge for the day. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much for casting your ballots. Now we come to the reports that's about to be delivered by those real-time online evaluators. They have been strolling since the beginning of this meeting, and now they'll come and deliver. First report will be delivered by the timer, who is Toastmaster Pearl Earn, currently pursuing her MTech integrated in software engineering. She's a 19, no, not yes. What I understand about TM Pearl is the day I saw her first as a guest, no offense meant on any other guest sitting here. She was invited for a table topic, she gave, she delivered it. She did not say, I'm not used to public speaking, I'm not used to talking, I don't understand, I don't have points. No, she came here, I forgot the topic, she delivered it. And that is because they have decided to pursue Toastmastering as a family. Have you ever heard of Toastmasters family? Of course, me and my wife, once upon a time she was a Toastmaster, but after a lot of persuasion. Now, I remember Toastmaster Ajit coming here on that day when he brought his family as a guest. We have decided to join Medley Club as a family. I really please give a big hand to her family for making it as a Toastmasters family. Over to you.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to announce the timer log for table topics. TM Jagan has taken 1 minute 49 seconds. Guest Tangaraj has taken 43 seconds. Guest Manju has taken 1 minute 13 seconds. Guest Rekha has taken 1 minute 27 seconds. Guest George has taken 1 minute 45 seconds. And TM Gomati has taken 1 minute 11 seconds. Guest Sukumaran has taken 1 minute 30 seconds. Guest Ajit Kumar has taken 1 minute 58 seconds. Guest Kirtan George has taken 2 minutes 9 seconds. Guest Priti has taken 1 minute 55 seconds. And TM Shanmugavel has taken 1 minute 38 seconds. And coming to the prepared speeches, DTM Sundararaman has taken 7 minutes 30 seconds. TM Dinakaran has taken 7 minutes 40 seconds. TM Ranga has taken 7 minutes 18 seconds. And the evaluations done by DTM Thomas took 3 minutes 18 seconds. TM Praveena took 3 minutes 7 seconds. TM Jagan took 3 minutes 26 seconds. Coming to the table topic master, he's taken 16 minutes and 15 seconds. And the TMOD has taken 8 minutes. And the general evaluator has taken 4 minutes and 11 seconds.
Thank you very much. And the third person of the tag team is the grammarian, distinguished Toastmaster Guruprasad. He's going to deliver his grammarian report. So when he was in his college days, he used to be so attracted, or he had a crush on that footwear shoe called Nike brand. He always wanted to buy one and wear it, but he could not afford it. Then he got into a job, he was earning a salary, but Nike decided to escalate the price. He got promoted, he got a higher salary, Nike again escalated. It kept on happening like this. And a year ago, he decided enough is enough. Just do it. He took all the money he had. We are wasting money in the name of so many things. He wanted to buy a Nike shoe. He went there and bought a Nike shoe. So happily won it. He was walking around. It was sad that nobody even cared that what he was wearing in his feet. But then he decided, I don't care about the word. I want to buy one. I just did it. That was his way of looking at life. I'll be inviting the R counter after grammarian. I'll finish my role first. I have a purpose for it. I'll explain why it was done this way. Today, it was a really good listening experience with me playing both the roles and making sure that I'm doing justice to both the roles. It was really interesting to listen all your speeches. I made some good observations, I believe. DTM Thomas had a word called experiential lookup. I like the usage. And then he also used source credibility. And there are some words like chronology, humility, though they are used frequently, they are very noticeable words today. And he also used a word called vital central truth. And the word lofty was also very interesting to note, which means of a higher intellectual value. DTM Sundararaman, of course, in his speech itself, he used the word protege. It is part of his objective, but he also explained the reason behind the name and how we use it. That was interesting. He used a word called mythological. Toastmaster Dinakaran used words like miracle, scroll, trolling, rejuvenate, double-edged sword. Of course, double-edged sword was used by 2-3 people in their different speeches. Ranga had a nice quote. Of course, the quote is from Tala. Follow the process, the results will automatically come. It was interesting to learn. Jagan, I really appreciated that observation about the table topic. You said truth mixed with rhetoric is called exaggeration. A nice analogy of the difference between false and exaggeration. Then during your evaluation, you said something in a long sentence. I could not note it down. Mediocre leader, the type of leaders, and then that was a nice observation, but I could not write it. I was doing so many other things in parallel. That was good. Guest Manju, she said he was uneducated, but helped others to get educated. That was a nice analogy about Perunthalavar Kamarajan. Guest Rekha, what is meant to be a mother? I like that usage. And the word called resonate was good. Guest Keithan George, of course, a well-known quote. It was very apt. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Very lately, I was told by a friend that they should be read like a friend in need is a friend, comma, indeed. But normally we recite it like a poetry. A friend in need is a friend indeed. There should be a past indeed. And Toastmaster Praveena used a word called palpitation. With respect to my other kind of observation, there is not much. There was one usage where it said, I was looking for clubs, I find it today. It could have been, I found it today. Then, never please, though the R counter may observe this and tell, that's why I came a bit early before R counter. Please avoid starting your speech with the words like so, okay, you know, and all that. Simplest thing is, if you don't have anything to talk about, you are stuck in a TT topic. Say, good afternoon all of you, good afternoon TT Master, good afternoon first row, good afternoon second row, good afternoon third row. By the time you can think about the topic and start delivering something. So use that as a trick. Otherwise, you will be having these filler words. If you don't know what to say, there is a topic. All this will come. Of course, my friend will be covering it in detail. Then for wristwatch, Toastmaster Sukumar. You are trying to say something, but the flow and your thoughts were blocking each other. Try to break and use simple sentences. Simple sentences will help you to take a pause, think about the next point, deliver it. Of course, being a guest, first time you are delivering, no issues, this is a small suggestion. Otherwise, yeah, it was a nice experience as a grammarian. I would like to end my grammarian report with one suggestion or one observation I have made in our general English usage. Many times I have seen people saying that I could not able to, I could able to. This is a wrong usage. Could is a word that says I am capable of doing this, I am not capable of doing this. That itself says. And could able is a wrong combination. You say I am able to, I am not able to, I am unable to is fine. Could and able, you always remember, could and able are never connected together. These words, I am ending my grammarian report and handing over the stage to the R counter. Normally, the acronym for this team is called TAG, T-A-G, Timer, R counter and Grammarian. I'm a bit hurry in always, I came before, I'll tell you why. So for doing this, I have a family deity and a temple. Most of us have a family deity and temple. My family temple is in Gunaseelam. And the deity's name is Prasanna Venkatesh V. Whenever I want to take a decision or I have a problem, I'm confused, I'll pray to my God, Prasanna Venkatesh V. He'll just come into my mind and say, just do it. So today, we ran short of our counter in the last minute. Then we called him, are you ready to do? He said, I'll just do it. He's a very active Toastmaster, energetic, ready to do all the roles, take every activity within Toastmasters Club. I'm happy to introduce him and allow him to do
Thanks for the introduction. Good evening all. Before going to the counter report, I would like to congratulate to the speakers who gave the perfect clean speech today. It's Toastmaster Jagan from both TT session and evaluation session, and Toastmaster Gomati from TT session. Now, I'm giving my counter report. For the prepared speech session, DTM Sundararaman used so 3 times, 4 times. Toastmaster Dinakaran used so several times, several times, and Toastmaster Ranga used and several times, 1 time, 2 times. And now coming to TT session, guest Tanga used and 3 times, guest Manju used 1 time, guest Rekha used 1 time, 3 times, so 1 time, guest George used and 3 times, Toastmaster Gomati, it's a clean speech, guest Sukumaran used like 1 time, guest Ajit Kumar used and 3 times, guest Keithan George used 3 times, 1 time, so 3 times, guest Smriti used several times, 1 time, so 1 time and 1 time. Toastmaster Shanmugavel used 1 time. Now, coming to evaluation session, DTM Thomas used R 3 times, Toastmaster Praveena used one time and 2 times, so 3 times. So this is my account report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You heard all these 3 tag members giving their report. Please feel free to vote for the best person in this tag team who gave a very nice report as per your feeling. I'll give you 5 seconds for doing it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now it's time for me to give my final observation report. It's called General Evaluator's Report. I really liked and I feel I've taken the right decision to just do it today. It was very interesting. I was a bit skeptical about playing both the roles and doing justice to it. I think at least to my conscience I have done justice to the role. The meeting started, it was 2 minutes late. Okay, it's okay, 2 minutes we can always adjust. We are not launching rockets. Of course, the guests were introduced and guests were very comfortable and coming to the stage and explaining about themselves as well as their expectations. Then we had 3 good speeches. My observation was that all the speakers, they planned the speech but delivered it impromptu. I have a feeling maybe they did not deliver it by the script. They had the idea but delivered it. But in that case, at least if you're not very clear about what you're trying to deliver, have some chits or bullets somewhere written here so that you can follow. You will have a cue in the name of some cards instead of just flowing from your thoughts. Otherwise, that was also a different experience. All the prepared speeches were kind of a prepared table topic speeches. That was my observation. TET topics were simple but challenging. And I also appreciate that TT Master had a plan B for the speakers who were stuck with the difficult topics. He immediately gave a topic. The title looked very complicated, but actually it was a very simple topic. One example was guest Manju, who first initially was a bit hesitant on the first topic. The moment you give the second topic, she just was on the flow. There was a nice way of understanding the person who is standing here, accordingly playing the mind game. I really appreciated it. Then I have some critical comments, and before that, all these table topic speakers, I really appreciate. Most of you, almost all of you, were on stage fully alive and were ready to take up the challenge. Jagan had a nice analogy. I already explained it in my Grammarian's report. Of course, Rangaraj, I think, is workaholic. Even in table topics, he cannot forget his work, but it was a nice explanation. For Manju, the moment the topic was given, she talked from the heart, because I believe she loves the leader a lot. So she had no hesitation at all. This is the secret of public speaking. You live with the topic, then you deliver whatever it is. Then guest George, of course, we understand. Though we are aged today, as a kid we were all the same. And I really appreciate, you appreciate your neighbors as generous, and I appreciate them too. Gomati, yeah, it was a nice topic about how to lead the young people by using that topic. Sukumar, what was your topic? Was the wristwatch, right? Yeah. No offense meant with considering his age. He was ready with an answer. He never hesitated. He had a clean idea. He had a definitive point of view on the topic. That's what I appreciate. He said, no, I am not going to wear a wristwatch. I don't need it. He delivered it. Of course, with proper training and tuning, you will be going to places. Toastmaster Ajit, of course, I never expected television to be your theme for the given topic. I thought you would be talking about people's eyesight, going into vision or something like that. That was a good analogy of the given topic. Toastmaster Kirtan, George, nothing personal between you and me. But I think as a society, are we leading the new generation the right way? Is what I started thinking when I heard him saying that I don't care about relatives, friends are more important to me. It's not about him or his family or his parents, but I think we need to inculcate that habit in the new generation. that relatives are also part of my family. What I do is, wherever there is, because my son's teacher taught me, take him to all your family weddings, family events, introduce him to relatives, then let him understand the value of having a larger family. I introduce him and I also tell him to address that person using the name of the relationship. If he's a tata, call him as tata. He's a peripa, perima, atte, party, everyone, my son will go and address them. Her name could be Prema. He will say Prema, atte, or Kannan Peripa. I advised him, I taught him. So next time, whenever you see him, you understand you have a bonding because of a family. Whenever you address him using the word. So please let us inculcate this habit into the next generation. As I said, nothing personal between your family or me. Toastmaster Smriti, yeah, you were nervous, not because of public speaking, but because of the content of the topic. And Shanmugavel, you got it. I was nervous a bit. You were only talking about the floor. Then you finally got this marble also. You really shared it. So the table topic was really interesting. I enjoyed it a lot. Finally, just 4 points, critical comments. Already we were advised by senior Toastmasters that this golden gavel shall not be used, shall never be used for banging the table. It is a mark of recognition to our club, not a tool to be used by the president. Please avoid using golden gavel for banging the table. Then GE notebook was not updated after 728th meeting. This is 731. Please advise GEs to update. It is the ExCom's duty to make sure all the notes are updated by the role players. Grammarian notebook, already I said, our counter I could not get a notebook. Grammarian notebook is also missing. Please update that notebook. Yeah, 2 of the awards I see here are to be given to individual persons and they are not club recognitions. One is for late Toastmaster Jagannathan, other is for Paridhabangal. At least arrange it to be couriered to them. This table is meant for displaying the honors of the club, not the medals that should be given to an individual. Please make sure that the proper recognitions are shown here. And I already mentioned during my Grammarian report, for the guests, this is a small piece of a tip for you. Whenever I stuck on a topic, start by addressing the audience, saying good morning, good afternoon. With this, I end my report. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, General Evaluator. When I read about this theme, just do it, I was wondering, don't we need to do an analysis of the situation, risk analysis, and come up with more data points to support your decision? But when I watched this movie, I came across one important thought which I wanted to elaborate for my remaining 8 minutes of Toastmasters, TMOD's time. But fortunately or unfortunately, I have not been given that time due to paucity of time. I would like to end with my impromptu TMOD's final speech. So what I understood from the movie Air was that the last learning was that most of the times it's not because of lack of data or decisions that we struggle with the outcome. It is more because we are having a lot of options to take decision. At that moment, at that point of moment, what it says, the movie says, or what I got inspired is, go with your instinct. You may have, it's not that you have one path to go and you had to go into that path. At that time, that moment you don't do analysis, but when you have multiple options, go with your instinct. If you think that, okay, all are equally good options, go with your instinct which you feel it is the right path, though your relatives or your surroundings and the social group says otherwise. So the movie portrays that point very clearly. So I wanted to explain it in detail, but that's the crux of that movie. So make your decisions based on information, data, and the data points, but go with your instinct in the last moment whenever you are stuck with taking the final decision. So with that, I request all the participants to vote for the role player of the day. The role players are impromptu general evaluator DTM Guruprasad, myself TMOD Venkataseshan, Toastmaster Venkataseshan, and our table topics master DTM Sampath Sowrirajan. So with this, I hand over the session to our presiding officer for the closure comments.
TMOD. Let's have a round of applause for all the role players for having this wonderful meeting. So let's hear from some of the guests on the feedback. Yes, Tankaraj, would you like to come? Yes. Yeah. Just a feedback, like, did you enjoy, how did you find it useful?
This side.
Yeah. You can just say whatever you think about the meeting.
Yeah, once again,
Any improvements?
very good evening to all. So as I said earlier that I have attended this session for once in few years back, that is 16-17, and that was very nice actually. That was organized by my organization as well, that is the company which I work for. They themselves organized it for the first time and for their employees. So we have attended for once. So at that time it was very useful, and after that I am shifting my job to here and there, and I couldn't find time, and as well as I forget it. So recently again it unfortunately came to my mind, so I was searching for it and contacted the Prasanna, and then I enrolled. So definitely the purpose and the intention to join this particular class to develop the leadership skill, as you said in the initial of the meeting, that to develop the leadership skill and as well as the presentation skill. Somehow everybody, the people, those who are here are able to communicate. Okay, everybody is in the medium of communicator. It may be any of the language, but the presentation is a different thing, which comes into my mind, but I couldn't transfer it to the audience. Okay, in a way which I actually want to transfer the message. So that is the reason and purpose which I joined this class. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Help you out. There is a guest group. We'll add you in the guest group so you can actually communicate, and then we can also help you to look out for other options also.
There is one in Thaddeya.
Not Chennai.
Not Chennai Toastmasters.
See, like for all the guests and everybody, right? So this platform gives like an opportunity to come and present yourself, and also like there will be a lot of learnings here, and also help us to improve on the listening skills. So more than communicating and then delivering the speeches, listening is also a critical skill where that will help us in multiple ways. So being here and then listening to different topics and enhancing your listening skill also would be further helpful to your leadership journey. Yeah. Would you like one of you can come and? It's an opportunity just to come and share your thoughts. So feel free, share what is coming to your mind as a feedback. Yeah.
So in the organization where I currently am working, so there is some kind of a position called advisory board. So once you have a 20 years of experience in the same company, you are eligible to get into that board. Fortunately, I got that in 15 years of experience in the same company that I work with. So the advisory, I thought that whatever a subject matter knowledge that we have, so we will be dealing with the complex and largest account of the organization. That way, it is going to be very meaningful for the users, the customers, and for me as well to know their critical business challenges and all that stuff. But the moment I entered into that advisory board, I realized, as Sir was mentioning, it is all about listening. 80% is listening. Just 20% share whatever you know a bit onto the topic, onto the problem that the user, the customer is having. So that sense I realized the listening is really low in me is one of the things, because I have a tendency to share whatever I know in the kind of a meeting and everything with my team that I have, and then with my manager that I interact with. So that's the kind of a thing I felt. The listening has to be really improved. And the second thing is, in this pandemic time, I had invested, I am really not able to quantify the amount of money that I had invested in an online platform for a public speaking skills. And then later I realized it's not about listening to someone and practice something on your own. It is something that you get on to the people and then have a very physical experience to learn and understand where you stand is the critical thing, a step that I have to take. So the person whom I got in touch with the Medley Toastmasters, Mr. Shiva, I'm not sure whether
He's not comfortable.
Okay, so he got tired actually because more than 10-12 times I had asked, where is this desert rose and what time it's happening, what is the topic, I will be coming this week and that week, and last week onwards he didn't reply to anything. So that's the thing that made him to suffer, because I had that kind of an inhibition or a struggle to come and talk without something in the form of a PPT, as I was telling you before. So that's the kind of a thing. So I really want to come out of all these challenges I have in terms of listening and then speak out your mind. Whatever you think on your mind, just speak out. So for these reasons, I preferred this one. And after coming in here, I'm really getting confidence. I really don't want to overcome it and under-deliver something later of not turning out here. So I have to make sure I need to come here and see where I can and how I can improve myself with all of your great support. Thank you.
Would you like to come? Yeah. Come. So did you enjoy?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I first came, I did not expect it with this type of audience. I just expected a bunch of kids of my age and no offense. So,
Honest. We are all of your age only, don't worry.
but the energy and all the output that he gave was basically on the same level, on the same frequency. There was nothing like even lacking anywhere. So it was actually amazing actually. I did not expect it to be of this level. It was nice.
Thank you. Ketan George. That's fine, yeah.
I'm experienced in Toastmasters, and I think the speech which I said was a bit more immature. I shouldn't have said anywhere, because you gave me ideas about 8 different, so I just gave my personal opinion. But honestly,
I would have said the same.
No, it's your speech. No, you have every right to speak from your
Immature
heart.
also means I am mature.
No, it's not immature. You had your point of view, I had my point of view, that's all. There is
Yeah.
nothing right or wrong in this.
okay, so it was a good thing, I know, like people reviewing our speeches, and this is my first time having that conversation, and a very healthy one, so it was a great experience.
See, end of the day, whatever the forum we are, right? So it's a learning process. First thing. Second thing is that it is our own thought. And then any forum, we don't need to worry about the other side of whatever the reaction or whatever, right? Inputs. So it's always good to share what you know and what you want to and what you prefer to share. That's all. So that's the freedom we have in this world. So nothing to feel bad anything about it. Sir, would you like to come? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. In fact, I feel that I should have joined much earlier. That's what I feel. I regret about not joining it earlier. And really, this is what we need in today's world, because communication, putting across our ideas effectively and in a way that others can understand. So that is what is needed now, and I'm sure this platform is going to be really effective.
So what is your background? Where do you work?
I'm a teacher in Kendriya Vidyalaya.
Oh, okay.
So
Here in the
yeah, in KVCLR.
Teaches English.
Oh,
Grammarian.
Okay.
Grammarian, very different.
Yes, great. Really.
Keep visiting us, sir.
Yes.
Thanks for that.
One more please.
Hope you have enjoyed the session. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Actually, I came here for I'm not good in English speaking. I want to
where are you from now? You are from Chennai or?
I'm in Palava, Chennai.
Okay, no, you're native.
Actually, I'm a homemaker.
Okay.
Last year only I joined for job.
Okay.
I want to learn to talk more in
Sure,
English.
sure. You can just look at them and speak.
Actually,
So after the meeting, how are you feeling now?
it's good, sir. Actually, I asked for a English coaching class, but my uncle said it's not useful for you. You go this, you get an idea.
Sure.
That's why I came here.
You like it?
Yes, sir.
Feel comfortable with the environment?
Yes, sir. I'm comfortable.
Keep visiting us. Like when you start with something new, that's how it is. So within few weeks, you'll become very comfortable. So no worries. Keep coming and keep joining us. Thank you. Yes, with you.
So as I said, this is my third meeting as a guest.
And the final meeting as the guest.
No, sir, not yet.
No, you can become a member. Is what you say.
I said final
Sir,
meeting.
I thought the other way around.
Final meeting as a guest.
Okay. Okay. Sure. So yeah, the thing is, I wanted to improve my listening skills as well. I think I'm listening better than what I used to, but the communication thing, I think I have to improve a lot. Hopefully, the further sessions I improve.
Government did say that you improved already. Each meeting. Guru, each meeting you improve.
You join and start playing roles and delivering speeches, you'll definitely grow.
Sure. I hope for the same, sir. Thank you.
So it comes by experience. So once you have the opportunity to come and speak and do different things, automatically it comes. So you need to structure the way that you communicate. That's all it is. Yes, thank you. Where the results?
We're having a meeting because
Yeah,
it's going to be the district conference.
Meeting is there, sir. We'll start announcing the best performance for the day. Best role player, DTM Guru. Thank you. Sir. Best tag role player, Toastmaster Pearl. Okay, so best TT speaker, Toastmaster Jagan. Best prepared speaker, DTM Sundararaman. Best Evaluator, Toastmaster Jagan. Is the first time role player, Toastmaster Paul. You can say it's like a Let's sit down. Standing ovation for Thank you so much. I think with this, we'll declare.
No vote on gavel, please.
Yes, sir. The sound of this, I declare the meeting episode that you want. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Have a good evening.